There he is. Aiden, you got the cookie duster going. Who's got the best mustache on the team?
Um, I mean, mine's probably the darkest, probably the thickest. I don't know. We got a lot of good guys. Will Landon's got a good one. John Stevens has a nice thick one. Chase Waters can get the handlebars going. So we got some good mustaches.
I see correctly that you were held out of the promotional tweet for Movember from the Abbotsford Canucks? Like, did they not put you in there? Because I was saying at the top of the show, I was curious if you even grew a mustache from Movember because they chose not to put you in it.
Yeah, I was held out. I missed the photo op, but I actually they threw me in a story after the fact, so I did
Good.
get in there. But I was kind of like a pity invite, but I got in there.
Aiden, I wanted to ask you, it's obviously been, last several months a whirlwind for you signing with the Canucks, getting your cameo with the team down the stretch. Going back to last season when you had your 6 games with the big club, what was your welcome to the NHL moment where you're on the ice or maybe even off the ice and you're thinking, wow, I can't believe I'm in the NHL?
Um, I mean, I think off the ice would probably be I first landed in Arizona and I met some of the guys at like a optional workout in the hotel, and then a few of them asked me to go to dinner. Um, so I went to dinner with like 5 or 6 of the older guys, and that was pretty surreal. Just kind of hopping off the plane and getting dinner with some of those guys. Really nice of them to, treat me like that, and be welcoming, and ask me a bunch of questions at dinner and get to know them. So that was pretty special. That was probably like a, oh wow, like this is it was obviously a really nice restaurant somewhere that I normally probably wouldn't be eating in college. And then on the ice, probably playing Calgary at home, just a big team, physical, like some big guys, Zadorov, Tanev, like some big guys that I was kind of like, okay, this is definitely a step up from what I'm used to.
Aiden, from the playing like Friday, Saturday, generally in the NCAA, what's the adjustment been like to the everyday grind in professional hockey?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's definitely a lot different. I think you kind of have to be a bit more methodical on how you go about things. I think in college you can get away with, maybe, Monday, Tuesday, you're kind of, you're going, you're actually, you're pushing yourself every day. I think I learned that as I got older and kind of had my routine down. But, and then, okay, maybe Wednesday and Thursday, you kind of dial it in and tighten it up and get thinking about that game Friday. But here, we had a really busy October, I think 11 games in, October, 12 maybe. So it was, you kind of have to be on top of it every single day. And you have to prepare your body a lot better. You have to be sharp every day because, especially myself, I'm new. I'm improving myself every day, and I can't afford to have, a day where I don't have my foot on the gas pedal and I'm kind of just going through the motion. So I think it's more about just being a pro every single day and learning how to take care of your body. Because I think, and when you do have time, to make sure you're doing the right things away from the rink, because you have to make sure you take care of that time away from the rink. And when you don't play as much, make sure you're feeling fresh, because you could go through a stretch of a few weeks where you're playing 6, 7 games.
We know you have a great release on your shot. We know you have great offensive instincts in terms of getting open in and around the slot. But adjusting to the professional game, we know everybody talks about how much faster it is, how much bigger your opponents are. Is there one or two areas in specific that you're looking at your own game? And of course, the steep adjustment from NCAA to pro and looking at it and going, this is sort of what I need to hone in on to reach the next level, whether it's something as specific as wall work or your acceleration or how quickly you make decisions with the puck. I'm curious what you would identify from your own game in terms of how you're going to take the next step.
Yeah, I think there's a lot. I think you come into, or at least for me, I came into professional hockey thinking that you know a lot about the game, and you had success at the earlier level. So when you get here, you're just going to be able to kind of do the same things that you've been doing, and it's largely different. I think there's a lot of things like the wall work, the D zone structure, being hard on battles, um, being better below the dots in the offensive zone, making sure pucks get behind their defense and get in. I think um, there's pros and cons to staying for 4 years and developing, and I wouldn't change it, but I think I could have developed some, I had some leash with my coach in terms of if I turn a puck over, or, if I kind of don't back check as hard, or, maybe don't sprint out of the zone, then, I'm probably still going to go over the boards that next shift. And, nothing's really going to happen because, I could produce offensively, but here it's a lot harder to produce offense 5-on-5, and you have to do those little things day in and day out to afford yourself those opportunities offensively. I think the biggest thing that, I came in to pro as a goal scorer, and I still want to score as many goals as I can, but I think it came a lot easier in terms of I wouldn't have to move my feet as much, and you get more chances to score. Like, right. Like I have a good shot and I could score from the top of the circles, but here it's a lot harder to score from the top of the circles. A lot of good goalies, a lot of good defensive teams, there's not many breakdowns. There's not many opportunities where the other player is going to make a mistake and you're gonna be able to walk right in and rip one. And if you do, the goalie's probably gonna make a save. So you have to, create offense the hard way. You're gonna have to go to the net strong, put your stick on the ice, get it off the cycle, drive it to the net, beat your check. So there's a lot of things I think that I've had to, adjust to, but I think it's helping me. Like I think I'm almost relearning like how to play the game at a professional level, and I think that's going to help me, for success moving forward.
How much easier is it to relearn the game when the guys you're learning for are some Hall of Famers in the City and Twins and the other staff out there in Abbotsford? What's that process been like for you working with them?
It's been amazing, honestly. It's been like super helpful. I think last year in the spring, the coaching staff in Vancouver did an unbelievable job of kind of giving me a quick crash course, but it's hard to do so much, when I'm only there for a certain amount of time. But I think now I've really been able to, do a lot more video with the coaching staff in Abbotsford, talk to the Sedins a lot more, do a lot of extra work after practice. And they've been amazing to learn from. They've all been super helpful, and been kind of communicating to me about things that, I can do better, and things that I've done well. But it's kind of like a collective unit here. I think everyone in Abbotsford is rooting for each other. Like we first off, obviously want for the Canucks to have success. We want, our team to have success, and we want the guys on our team that go up there to have success. And I think it's kind of been by committee. I think everyone's been trying to pull on the same rope in terms of developing, and the coaching staff's great because they know, it's not like, I need to be at a certain level by this time, or their job is, not sufficient, or if I don't get to this pace or this points or whatever. It's none of that. It's every day we're going to come in, we're going to work hard. We have a great group of guys, and we're going to get better and chip away. And, everybody's path's a little bit different.
We wanted to throw a few fun ones at you before we let you go. For starters, if you had to pick one teammate in Abbotsford that you sort of look at and that you're most confident will develop into a future NHL player, who would it be?
Ooh, that's a tough one because there's a lot.
You said it was going to be fun.
Okay, you can pick more than one, but
yeah, pick a couple.
Pick a couple.
Yeah, I mean that's there is a lot of players. I think like on the defensive side, I think Akito and McWard are both in my shoes, where they're both first year and they've handled it really well. McWard skates so well backwards. I've never seen a guy skate as well backwards with the puck on his stick. And Akito's is so smart. I mean, offensively, there's a lot of guys too. I mean, we have a really good and deep team. Like, there's a lot of guys that I can learn from, but I'd probably have to go with Bainsy. He just does it.
Pick. That's a
He
good
just
pick.
does. Like, he obviously came in as a skill player and putting up points, and he has that part of his game. But I think it's really underrated of how hard he plays. He's really good at a lot of little details, like making sure every time he gets the puck, it's getting north, it's getting behind their defenseman. He rarely turn pucks over. He's great on the forecheck. He's great in really all areas. He kills penalties. Like, that's what really impressed me, because I played with him at the development camp, and I just remember his skill and his passing ability. But now kind of seeing him, it's like almost a bit of a different player because he can kind of do it all. And he has all those aspects. Like, he could go in, I think up to Vancouver and play in any situation, and he could do do a sufficient job for sure.
That's a great answer to what was supposed to be a fun question. Just put you on the spot a little bit there. This one will be
No
a little bit
worries.
easier. You've been rooming with Josh Bloom. Who's the messy one? Who's doing the cooking? What's that situation like for you?
Well, I live with Josh Bloom, Mark Gackholm, and Max Asson. So
Oh
there's four
wow.
of us. Yeah. We got the nickname the frat house because Rathbone lived with us before and it was four college guys.
Oh
So we
man.
got the nickname the frat house. So, but then Bloomer took Bonesy's spot. So I would say Sasson is the messiest for sure. Um, Bloom and Gackholm probably take the majority of the cooking duties.
Mm.
I can't cook very much, but I make salads and I play the music while we cook. Um, and then Gakko's probably the cleanest. He likes to make sure everything's clean right away after we cook, and he's clean around the room and around the house as well.
That's awesome.
If you had to pick one skill that you could steal from any Canucks player from the NHL roster, what would it be? And I'm going to add a twist that you can't pick Hughes' skating because that's too obvious.
Okay. That's a good one. Maybe probably like someone like Hoglander or like Lafferty skating because those guys can fly. Hoggy's really quick, and really agile, and Lafferty's really good. Like north south can fly. So maybe one of their two skating abilities because those guys can both scoot.
All right, right before we let you go, who's at the top of your Spotify Wrapped this year?
Oh, I had a crazy one. I think it was like I had like Morgan Wallen and like Drake and maybe like Noah Khan and then like maybe like Lil Durk or like something like that. I'm all over the place with music. I like kind of everything. I like to listen to a lot of different stuff, but those guys, I think it was a couple of rappers and a couple of country guys.
Beautiful. Yeah, versatile. That's like me. I had Taylor Swift at the top of mine, and then DMX was third on mine, so I got a lot of flack for that. But yeah, versatile guys. Aidan, thank you so much for joining us, man. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. Anytime.
Thanks, Aidan.
Aidan McDonough, forward with the Abbotsford Canucks, friend of the show. Man, I'm sure he's not keeping track, but I got to try to figure out how many times he's been on the show because his good friend Jack Rathbone held the record for most appearances on Canucks Convo by a non-media member, of course. Rathbone had been on the show like 6 times.
Really?
6 times. Dude, Jack, you text Jack Rathbone and you say, hey, man, like, you want to come on the show? Yep, I'm game. Absolutely. Always game. Jack Rathbone came on, I think, twice during the pandemic, during COVID. And hey, speaking of Jack Rathbone, good guy, everybody knows that. When we held that Warzone game to raise money for, Dave Nordum, a Canucks fan dealing with cancer, we raised money for him for his GoFundMe. Jack Rathbone, not only he donated $100 and the buy-in was $5 for that game. Everybody has to donate $5. Jack Rathbone donated $100. I don't even think he played in the tournament. I think he paid for 4 of his friends from Boston to play in the tournament. And we just had these 4 Boston guys in the tournament because Jack Rathbone paid for them to play because I think he wanted to, but he wasn't able to. And then Gaudette was in it. And anyways, good guys out there.
That was so much fun. You might have to bring that back. I think my buddy Chris Nickel, shout out BC Conquer, won the thing. So that was a lot of fun.
It was so hard.
Great cause too.
Yeah, it was so hard to put together. I was putting it together. Like I still lived with my mom at the time. Like I was in my bedroom, like my childhood bedroom, playing on my 32-inch TV. Like I was organizing all of this, and everybody in the house was under instructions not to use the internet because this game couldn't crash. Yeah. And I was wired up, and oh man, that was a stressful time.
The comms chat, I don't know, there was like a Jim Benning joke in there, and everyone went ballistic. It was like the funniest thing.
I actually had it muted because I was in a private party, and I think we live streamed our game. So because we had who's our teammate? We had Ryan Beach as our teammate at the time. It was
the Ringer,
Faber, and Ryan Beach was our team. No, it was we did trios. It was trios. I think.
Yeah.
Anyways, again, thanks to Aidan McDonough for joining us.